You wake up because your feet feel like they're on fire. You swing your legs over the bed, and when your feet hit the floor, you barely feel the carpet beneath them. It's a terrifying paradox, pain and numbness fighting for control of your life. You've likely heard the words peripheral neuropathy, and you've probably been told some version of the same discouraging story. It's just aging. It's probably genetic, or you just have to learn to live with it. But here is the thing, in many cases, none of that is true. Researchers at the University of Michigan Neuropathy Center spent 12 years following over 8,000 adults, and what they discovered changed how we understand nerve damage in seniors. They found that a staggering number of people with unexplained neuropathy shared hidden factors, not diabetes, not genetics, but something far more common. These are things most people encounter every single day without knowing they are slowly poisoning their nerves. I've spent decades treating seniors with burning feet, numb hands, and balance problems that steal their independence. One of the most frustrating things I see is how often people are given the wrong explanation for why their nerves are failing. Today, we are going to dismantle those myths. We are going to uncover the 5 hidden sources of nerve poison that researchers from top institutions like Johns Hopkins and Stanford have identified. Some of these will contradict what you've been told for decades. One of them, our final revelation, is so common yet so deadly to your nerves that nearly half of the people who have it don't even know it. If you value your independence, if you want to stop the burning and regain the feeling in your feet, you cannot afford to miss a single minute of this video. We are building a roadmap to recovery, step by step. A quick important reminder before we dive in. All the information shared today is for educational purposes. Everyone's health situation is unique, so please consult your doctor or healthcare provider before making any significant changes to your diet, exercise, or health regimen, especially if you have pre-existing conditions or are on medication. Let's use this knowledge to have informed discussions with them. Now, let's begin with a habit that has been marketed to us as the smart way to eat for years. We'll call this insight number 5. The grazing trap. You have likely heard countless times that eating 6 small meals a day is better for your metabolism, or that you should graze to keep your energy up. It sounds logical. Keep the fuel coming to keep the engine running. However, for our nerves, this constant stream of food creates a relentless physiological stress. The issue isn't necessarily what you are eating in this context, but how often you are eating. When we snack constantly, a handful of nuts here, a cracker there, a piece of fruit an hour later, we are keeping our body in a state of perpetual work. Here is why this matters. Every time you eat, your body releases insulin. Insulin is a master hormone, vital for life. But, and this is a critical distinction, insulin is also inflammatory when it is constantly elevated. Research from Stanford's Metabolic Health Center has shown that when insulin stays high all day because of constant snacking, the inflammatory pathways that irritate nerve tissue never get a break. To truly grasp how the grazing trap works, let's use an analogy. Imagine your body is a car engine. If you drive that car for 16 hours straight, never turning it off, never letting it cool down, eventually, the gaskets blow and the engine overheats. Therefore, your nerves are like that engine. They need a cooling off period, a window of time where no food is coming in, insulin drops, and the body can focus on repair rather than digestion. When you graze from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., you are revving that engine non-stop, eventually burning out the delicate wiring of your nervous system. The solution is straightforward. We need to shift from grazing to a consolidated eating window. This doesn't mean starving yourself. It simply means eating your meals in a distinct 10 or 12-hour window and closing the kitchen afterwards. By allowing your insulin to drop for longer periods, particularly overnight, you give your nerves the recovery time they are desperate for. That brings us to our next point, which might be sitting in your medicine cabinet right now. We call this insight number 4. The absorption blockade. Do you take something for heartburn? A little pill to manage acid reflux? Millions of seniors do. It seems like a harmless trade-off. Take a pill, avoid the burn. But there is a hidden cost to this comfort that directly attacks your nerves. Long-term use of acid-blocking medications, specifically proton pump inhibitors, PPIs, has been linked to a significant depletion of vitamin B12. And for your nerves, B12 isn't just a vitamin, it's armor. Vitamin B12 is required to maintain myelin, the fatty protective coating around your nerve fibers. Without it, your nerves are like live wires with the insulation stripped off, exposed, raw, and misfiring. That's where the tingling and shock sensations often come from. Now, think of it this way. Imagine a construction site where workers are trying to repair a road. Vitamin B12 is the asphalt they need to fill the potholes. However, your stomach acid is the delivery truck that brings the asphalt to the site. When you take strong acid blockers, you are essentially stopping the delivery trucks. The workers are there, the road needs repair, but no materials are arriving. Therefore, over months and years, the road, your nerve endings, crumbles into disrepair. Johns Hopkins researchers found that over 50% of seniors on these meds had low B12 levels, simply because they lacked the stomach acid needed to absorb it from their food. Now, when it comes to the absorption blockade, it's especially important for us to approach it with awareness. If you are on prescribed acid blockers, please do not just stop taking them tomorrow. That can be dangerous. But do bring this up with your doctor. Ask to have your B12 levels checked, specifically aiming for levels above 500 picograms per milliliter, and discuss if a sublingual supplement which dissolves under the tongue and bypasses the stomach might be right for you. Now, we're moving into dietary habits that are often disguised as health foods. This one shocks almost everyone I talk to. This is insight. #3. The liquid deception. Breakfast time often involves a glass of orange juice, or maybe a healthy fruit smoothie. It's fruit. It's natural. So it has to be good for you, right? This is perhaps the most pervasive myth in senior nutrition. The uncomfortable truth is that fruit juice and smoothies can be one of the fastest ways to accelerate nerve damage. The issue isn't the fruit itself, it's the form. When you eat a whole orange, you are eating fiber. Fiber is nature's braking system. It slows down the absorption of sugar, allowing your blood sugar to rise gently. But when you juice that orange, or even blend it into a smoothie, you pulverize that fiber. You remove the brakes. Consequently, you are left with a concentrated shot of liquid sugar that floods your bloodstream. Let's use an analogy here to make this crystal clear. Eating a whole apple is like a gentle, rolling wave washing over the beach. It's manageable and safe. Drinking apple juice, however, is like a tsunami crashing onto the shore. It overwhelms the landscape. When that sugar tsunami hits your bloodstream, it causes a sharp spike. These spikes lead to a process called glycation, where sugar molecules, literally, gum up and attach to your nerve fibers and the tiny blood vessels feeding them. It's like pouring syrup into a computer keyboard. Eventually, the keys stick and stop working. This is one of the hidden sources of nerve damage that is easiest to fix. The strategy is simple. Eat your fruit. Don't drink it. Eliminate the liquid sugar. If you want an orange, peel it and eat it. And ideally, have it after a meal containing protein. This keeps the sugar wave gentle and protects those delicate nerves from the tsunami of glycation. We are getting closer to the root causes now. This next habit is something almost all of us do without thinking, yet it causes daily, cumulative damage. This is Insight #2. The lonely carbohydrate. Think about your typical meals. Toast for breakfast, a handful of crackers for a snack, a bowl of rice or pasta for lunch. What these often have in common is that they are eaten alone, without a partner. Eating carbohydrates by themselves is a primary driver of the blood sugar instability that ruins nerves. You might think, it's just a piece of whole wheat toast. That's healthy. But chemically, your body breaks that toast down into glucose very quickly. Without anything to slow it down, your blood sugar spikes, causing that same inflammatory stress we discussed earlier. The American Diabetes Association has updated guidelines specifically pointing this out. Carbs eaten alone spike blood sugar 2 to 3 times higher than carbs eaten with protein or fat. Think of your stomach like a busy nightclub. The carbohydrates are the rowdy guests trying to rush through the door all at once to get into your bloodstream. If there is no security, they flood in and cause chaos. However, protein and healthy fats are the bouncers at the door. When you eat cheese with your crackers or an egg with your toast, the bouncers slow everything down. They only let the rowdy guests, the sugar, in one by one. Therefore, the club remains orderly. The damage is prevented before it begins. The rule for this insight is absolute. Never let a carbohydrate roam alone. If you have an apple, pair it with almond butter. If you have toast, put an egg or avocado on it. If you have crackers, have a slice of cheese. This simple pairing strategy can cut your blood sugar spikes by up to 40%, turning a damaging meal into a safe one. And now we have arrived at the most critical, the most underdiagnosed, and the most dangerous source of nerve poison. This is revelation number 1. The silent phantom. Earlier, I mentioned that 5 hidden sources of nerve damage are destroying seniors' quality of life. This is the one that ties them all together. Research from the University of Michigan Neuropathy Center found something terrifying. 50% of people with nerve damage have this condition, and the vast majority have zero idea they have it. We are talking about but not just high blood sugar. We are talking about a specific type of invisible prediabetes that standard doctor visits often miss. You might go to your doctor, get a fasting blood test, and be told, "Your sugar is 92. You're fine." But that test is lying to you by omission. Here is the silent phantom. Fasting blood sugar only tells you what your body is doing when it's at rest, after not eating for 8 hours. It's the easiest test to pass. However, the damage to your nerves happens after you eat. It happens in the spikes. You can have a perfect fasting number, but 2 hours after eating that bagel, your sugar could be spiking to diabetic levels, 160, 180, 200, and then dropping back down before your next morning test. Let's use one final, powerful analogy. Imagine an iceberg. The fasting test is just the tip of the iceberg poking above the water. It looks small and manageable, but the post-meal spikes are the massive, jagged ice mountain beneath the surface. That hidden ice is what tears the hull of the ship. That hidden ice is what destroys the nerves. Because your doctor is only looking at the tip, the ship sinks while everyone thinks the water is safe. This is the game changer. Do not settle for just a fasting glucose test. Ask your doctor for a Hemoglobin A1C test, which gives a 3-month average. Therefore, you get the full picture. Even better, consider using a glucose monitor for 2 weeks to see what your sugar really does after you eat. If you are spiking above 140 an hour after a meal, that is where the nerve poison is coming from. Knowing this allows you to use all the strategies we've discussed, stopping the snacking, pairing the carbs, ditching the juice, to flatten those spikes and stop the phantom from haunting your nerves. And there you have it, our game-changing revelation number 1. It might seem daunting to realize that standard tests can miss the root cause. But as we've explored, this knowledge is power. It's the power to stop the damage before it becomes permanent. So, we've covered a lot of ground today. We started with insight number 5, the grazing trap, and learned why giving your engine a break is vital. We looked at insight number 4, the absorption blockade, and the importance of vitamin B12. We exposed insight number 3, the liquid deception, and why eating fruit is always better than drinking it. We mastered insight number 2, the lonely carbohydrate, by hiring bouncers for our meals. And finally, we uncovered revelation number 1, the silent phantom of hidden blood sugar spikes. Each one of these is a stepping stone to a life where you feel the carpet under your feet and where you can sleep through the night without fire in your toes. Now, I have a question for you. Which of these insights, perhaps it was our foundational insight number 5 about snacking, or maybe the eye-opening revelation number 1 about hidden prediabetes, resonated with you the most? Which one are you thinking of trying first? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please share them in the comments below. If you found this journey through these health discoveries valuable, please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps others find our community. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more powerful strategies tailored for our fantastic group of healthy seniors. Until next time, stay healthy, stay curious, and keep thriving.